Someone disrespects you. Not in private, not quietly, but right there in front of people. You're in a meeting. You've been waiting for your turn to speak. You finally start talking. And someone cuts you off mid-sentence like you don't even exist. Or maybe it's online that you post something you worked hard on, and someone leaves a comment that doesn't just criticize your work. It questions you. Or maybe it's worse than that. Someone close to you, someone you trust, says something casually, but it hits deeper than anything a stranger ever could. And in that exact moment, everything changes. Your body reacts before your mind does. Your chest tightens. Your jaw locks. Your breathing changes. And your thoughts, they start racing. You start thinking about what to say back, what you should have said, what you will say next. And just like that, the calm version of you disappears, and a different version takes over. A reactive version, an emotional version, a version that just wants to respond immediately. But here's the truth that most people never realize. The moment you react emotionally, you lose control. Because now it's no longer about what they said. It's about the fact that they were able to control your emotional state. And once someone can control your emotions, they don't need to win the argument. They've already won the moment. But here's the real problem. Most people don't even notice when this happens. They think they're standing up for themselves. They think they're not letting things slide. But in reality, they're reacting. And reacting is not control. Reacting is automatic. Control is intentional. And that's the difference between someone who is emotionally strong and someone who is emotionally controlled by others. So let's ask the real question. How do you stay calm when everything inside you wants to react? Because let's be honest, staying calm when everything is fine is easy. But staying calm when someone disrespects you, that's different. That's where most people lose. To understand how to stay calm, you first need to understand why disrespect hits so hard. Because it's not just about words, it's about identity. When someone disrespects you, your brain doesn't treat it like a small social situation. It treats it like a threat to your status, a threat to your identity, a threat to how others see you. And your brain reacts instantly. In fact, studies show that emotional pain, like rejection or humiliation, activates the same areas of the brain as physical pain. That's why a simple comment can feel like a punch. That's why being ignored can ruin your entire mood. That's why one moment can stay in your head for hours, even days. But here's where everything starts to shift. It's not always about you. And this is where most people completely misunderstand reality. They assume intention, they assume meaning, they assume attack. But what if there was no real intention to hurt you? Think about how people actually behave. People act based on what's happening inside them. Stress, insecurity, frustration, fear, ego. Someone who is stressed might snap at you without thinking. Someone who feels insecure might try to put you down to feel bigger. Someone who is overwhelmed might ignore you. Not because you don't matter, but because their mind is somewhere else. In many situations, people are not attacking you. They are expressing their own internal chaos. But the moment you take it personally, you make it about you, and that's where the damage begins. Because now, you carry their chaos with you. You replay the moment again and again. You think about it while you're working, while you're eating, even when you're trying to sleep, and suddenly, they're not even there anymore. But they're still controlling your mind. So here's the shift that changes everything. Instead of saying, they disrespected me, say this, they behaved disrespectfully. It's a small shift, but it changes your entire perspective. Because now, it's not about your worth anymore. It's about their behavior. And behavior is always a reflection of the person doing it, not the person receiving it. That shift creates emotional distance. And distance gives you control. Now let's bring this into real life, because understanding this is one thing. But applying it in the moment, that's where it matters. Imagine this. You're in a group setting. Someone makes a sarcastic joke about you. A few people laugh, and for a split second, you feel exposed. Your instinct? Respond immediately. Say something back. Defend yourself. Win the moment. But pause for a second. Because right here, this is the moment that defines you. You have two choices: react or take control. And control starts with something incredibly simple, but incredibly powerful. Pause. Not for a long time, not in a way that feels forced, just enough to interrupt the automatic reaction. Because reacting instantly is what gives them power. But pausing, that's what gives it back to you. Now, here's something most people never do. They don't check what they're actually feeling. They just react. But if you slow down and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? You'll notice something important. It's not always anger. Sometimes it's embarrassment. Sometimes it's rejection. Sometimes it's insecurity. And when you recognize that something changes, the emotion loses its intensity because now you're aware of it. And awareness creates control. Now comes the part that most people struggle with. Silence. Because silence feels uncomfortable. It feels like you're losing. It feels like you're letting it happen. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful responses you can have. Because when you don't react, you don't feed the situation. You don't escalate it. You don't give the other person the reaction they might be expecting. And sometimes your silence makes the other person uncomfortable. Because now they're the only one being emotional. And you're in control. But staying calm doesn't mean staying silent forever. It means choosing your moment. Because calm people don't avoid confrontation. They just don't do it emotionally. They wait, they let things settle, and then they respond. Clearly, calmly, directly. Something simple like, I didn't appreciate that. No anger and no overreaction, just clarity. And that's real power. But let's go deeper, because there's something else driving all of this. Your ego. If you're honest, a big reason disrespect affects you is ego. Your ego wants to be respected. Your ego wants validation. Your ego wants to protect your image. And when someone challenges that, it feels personal. But here's the truth. Not everything deserves your reaction. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Will this matter in a year? Most of the time, it won't. So why give it control over you right now? Because every time you lose control, there's a cost. Sometimes it's external, a damaged relationship, a missed opportunity, a moment you regret. But sometimes it's internal, stress, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, and over time, that adds up. Studies show that repeated anger and stress can increase blood pressure and raise the risk of heart-related issues. So this isn't just about staying calm in one moment, it's about protecting your long-term well-being. Now here's what separates strong people from everyone else. They don't control others, they control themselves. They don't react to everything. They don't try to prove themselves to everyone. They don't seek validation from people who don't matter. Because they understand something powerful. When you truly know your worth, no one's words can shake you. So the next time someone disrespects you, and it will happen, pause. Not because you're unsure what to say, but because you're choosing who you want to be. Because in that moment, you're not just choosing a reaction, you're choosing your identity. React and lose control. Or stay calm and take your power back. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. Because most people never question their reactions. So if you want more content like this, content that helps you control your mind, your emotions, and your life, make sure you subscribe and comment below. What situation triggers you the most? Because your answer might help someone else too. And remember this, the strongest person in the room is not the loudest one. It's not the one who wins the argument. It's the one who stayed calm when everyone else lost control.